Advaita Pancharatnam, a work of Sri Shankaracharya, explained by Sri D.B. Ganguly. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Dr. Krishnamurti Shastri, Tambe Punacha, Karnataka, India. Already we have seen this Advaita Pancharatnam by D.B. Ganguly in 9 sessions. Today is the 10th session. Because Atman is not cognized, Jivatva is appearing. This is the today's topic. Now let us turn our attention towards the illustrated, that is Darshtantika. So Drishtanta we have seen, example. Illustration we have seen. Now let us turn our attention towards the illustrated one. Because we have not cognized as to what is the essential nature of our Atman or self, we are having Jivatva or soulhood. To wit, just as in darkness the rope is not cognized as it is, the people have wrongly conceived or misconceived to be a snake. Similarly, because we have not cognized our Shiva Swarupa, in it this Jivatva is appearing. Here, in this context, there exists a great deal of similarity between the illustration and the illustrated. For one who reckons or misconceives Atman to be a Jiva, a transmigratory soul, invariably and innately believes that he is intimately related to the body, prana or vital force, the mind, the intellect, and the ego. Just like the indiscreet person, without knowing or cognizing the rope as it really is, imagines in it a hood, a tail, and a crooked or coiled form, etc., and then becomes afraid, thinking that it is a snake. Similarly, the ignorant person imagines having an intimate relationship with the body, the vital force, the mind, the intellect, etc., the senses, etc., and entertaining various misconceptions in the manner I am born, I grow, I grieve, I die, and again am born, and is suffering. If observed incisively, just as there does not exist a wee bit of a taint of a snake in the robe, similarly in Atman, who is the witnessing principle, the very essence of Chaitanya or pure absolute consciousness, there is not the least taint of Jivatva at all. Just as the person who carries out a thorough examination or scrutinization of the object before him and attains the correct knowledge of the robe, the real object, and thereby gets rid of the fear of the imagined snake, similarly the Jijnasu or the knower or the one who wants to know, Jijnasu, by dint of his intuitive knowledge of Shivatva, gets rid of his apparent samsaritva or transmigratoriness. Objection: if the cognition to the effect I am a Jiva is Bhranti, then what pramana or proof can you adduce to assert that the cognition of the type I am Shiva is not a Bhranti? If I am Jiva is Bhranti, why not I am Shiva is also a Bhranti? Just as Bhranti means illusion, just as the cognition of Jivatva is falsified by means of deliberation, similarly the possibility of the cognition of Shivatva also being rendered false will invariably be there, is it not? Solution: there is no scope whatsoever for such a fear, for the cognition that one is a Jiva is the result of believing the innate relationship with the adjuncts like the body, the senses, the vital force, the mind, etc., which appear in one particular state of consciousness, say waking or dream, as the Paramartha or the absolute ultimate reality. But the intuitive knowledge or cognition that I am Shiva or the Chaitanya Swarupa is born out of the intuitive experience, Anubhava, of the Kutastha Chaitanya, Kutastha Nitya Chaitanya, which is devoid of any relationship with any state of consciousness nor with any restrictions of time. In the case of an object restricted by time, there exists the fear of anxiety that it may completely change its very essence of being. But who can ever assert that for the Paramartha Swarupa, which is beyond time, such a change or mutation can possibly be there? Next point. By the spiritual instruction of a Sadguru, the Shiva Swarupa can be cognized. Here, yet another point of deliberation remains. When even the Vedantins who are affirming that I am not Jiva are carrying on their day to day transactions just like the others, what clinching evidence or pramana is there to assert that Jivatva disappears and Shivatva comes into being? The solution for this doubt is in the illustration of the rope snake, we have very clearly delineated that the snake did not exist in the beginning, that is, even when the person was under the spell of delusion. And after the correct knowledge of the reality of the rope was gained, also snake did not really go away. In the same way, we have affirmed that Jivatva is caused by misconception and it really does not exist at all. Also, Shivaswarupa alone is the absolute ultimate reality. It being so, what is meant by saying Jivatva goes away or disappears, Shivatva comes into being? We are always of Shiva Swarupa, and this alone is the ultimate truth. There is no need of a pramana to say that we are of Shiva Swarupa, for our Swarupa, essence of pure being consciousness, is not a matter or an entity that can ever be hidden or unknown. In poor light to a person who has misconceived a rope to be a snake, if the knowledgeable person who knows the reality of the rope instructs or guides him in the manner, this is a rope, not a snake, immediately the doubt or misconception that it was a snake vanishes. But in that illustration, even after someone else has instructed about the real object, the person under the spell of misconception or doubt will necessarily have to get conceived that it is a rope alone, either by touching and examining the object or with the help of a light. It is not so in the case of our Atma Swarupa. In order to intuit it directly, that is, without any immediate pramana, there is no need for anything else at all. It is by itself of the very essence of Chaitanya Prakasha or self illumining pure consciousness. It being so, if the spiritual preceptor instructs in the manner, you are not the body, the senses, the mind, etc., in truth or in the ultimate analysis, you are of the Parama Shiva Swarupa. It is enough one who is a jijnasu merely by such pointed instruction as it is elucidated in the previous verses. The intuitive experience of the type, the Sakshi Chaitanya, which directly cognizes the body, the senses, the mind, etc., is itself I am, accrues instantaneously as it were. Many people who profess and call themselves Vedantins usually utter that I am not the body, the senses, etc., but I am of Shiva Swarupa. But theirs is merely a belief that they have in the Shastra or scriptural texts, as also in the traditional methodology of teaching, and nothing else. However, by the grace bestowed upon by a spiritual preceptor, those who have in reality attained to the intuitive experience of Atma Swarupa in essence, their case is not like that. Unlike the Shraddha Vedantins of the former class, the latter do not have or entertain excessive sense of identification with or pride in samsara. Hence, unlike others, they do not get afflicted or affected by shoka, grief or misery, moha, attachment or delusion. Not only that, even those to whom such jnanins expound the tattva, ultimate reality of Atman, they too intuit the reality and as a result get rid of their shoka and moha. Here, those who merely quote parrot like the Shastra statements should not be taken as the proper examples. Only those holy men who have themselves intuited the ultimate reality of Brahman, Atman, and in addition who are capable of inducing others to intuit the Atma Swarupa, and further who are engrossed in the work of enabling others to attain the intuitive experience, Tattva Sakshatkara, should be emulated or followed. Such great personalities are called Apta, closed ones, the close ones, not closed, close ones, Apta, close peer or close friend. Just as in the illustration, the Apta Vachana or Guru Vakya or statement by a well wisher who knows the reality as the rope is the pramana or for removing, rather for falsifying the rope snake as well as its fear. In the same way, the Apta Vachana of a Sadguru who is established in the intuitive experience of Paramartha Swarupa becomes the valid means for teaching our Shiva Swarupa, which is Nitya Siddha or eternally self established, as also for removing the fear about samsara. Now, the objection. Many people have listened to the spiritual instructions like you are verily Ishvara, not a Jiva, by great souls. Even so, they are not rid of the delusion of samsara. How come? Answer. It amounts to our having already given an answer to this query. For just as there is a rule of law that those who propound the tattva have perforce to have intuited it, in the same way there is a rule of law that those who listen to the exposition of the ultimate reality also should necessarily possess the proper qualifications. So, as we said already, how the guru should have some qualities, the shishya also should have some of the qualities to perceive the thing as it is. Apart from this, Vedanta Shravana or listening to Vedantic discourses is not merely hearing Vedantic sentences or statements on a couple of occasions. Just as in our workaday world, those who aspire to know a particular topic or thing and pursue this knowledge assiduously to its fruition, culminating in the removal of all doubts and cognition of its very essence. In the same way, here in this context too, it is quite essential for the true seeker to be endowed and equipped with Shraddha or steadfast, unflinching dedication to it, tatparata or ability to direct all efforts and energies towards it, and for him to listen to the spiritual instructions of the Sadguru with reverence and respect, and then for him to intuitively deliberate upon them and imbibe their true import or purport. Even when the knowledgeable persons affirm in the manner, this is a rope indeed, if a person whose misconception to the effect, this is truly a snake only, is deep seated, and on that account, if he does not at all direct his eyes towards the object, then how at all can there be any scope of his cognizing it to be a rope? Similarly, for those who keep on listening to Vedantic sentences on the one hand and keep on feeding the mind with the thoughts which strengthen the belief that the world is real and this alone is correct, the real fruit of Vedanta Shravana can never accrue. Even these Vedantic sentences being heard by them casually may give rise to some benefit or the other from time to time, but such perfunctory listening to the Vedantic sentences can never produce the immediate, instantaneous fruit that is here and now in this very life of the attainment of the essential nature of Atma Sakshatkara or getting established in the intuitive experience of pure consciousness. Because of the reason that the fact that we are all Shiva Swarupa in an absolute truth, it is quite certain that it can be attained exclusively and inviolably of jnana and intuition knowledge alone. But those who have not practiced or observed the spiritual disciplines like Shraddha, Tatparata, Indriya Nigraha, Guru Seva, Tattva Vichara, etc., can never attain jnana. Therefore, it must be believed that if one who is a mumukshu, one desires exclusively of attaining liberation, beatitude, here in this very life span, having acquired all the qualifications of a cleansed, pure heart or mind, undergoes a course of training by listening to the Upanishadic sentences and imbibing their true import, then surely this fruition of Atmajnana will be achieved. So, this is the topic we have discussed today. From tomorrow, we will see dissolution of the delusion about the world. That is the third shloka of the Advaita Pancharatnam, and its explanation we will see in the next class. Dissolution of the delusion about the world. Thank you. Hare Rama.